What was the cringiest thing you did in your first relationship? Made an account just so I could finally tell this cringe-worthy story. High school girlfriend and I used to make out on her bed with the door locked while her parents were out there under the impression we are studying. Heavy kissing, and at some point she says, "Cut that out. Your breath stinks." Start kissing her neck and she slowly wraps her legs around my thigh. Couple minutes later starts breathing heavily. Couple minutes after that her legs tighten around my thigh. Couple minutes after that she suddenly goes rigid. Eyes roll up till I see whites. Rapid breathing. Exhaling heavily. I panic. And this is my retarded thought process, since all the blood's left my brain. She's choking. I should give her CPR. But she said no kissing her mouth. So I close my lips around her nose and blow it like a trumpet. She starts coughing immediately, but she's too polite to cuss me out. Says she needs a drink of water and leaves the room. We continued to go out for 6 years after that. TLDR, didn't realize GF was having an orgasm. Thought she was dying. Tried to save her by blowing sewer breath straight into her nose. I'm a moron. I lost my virginity to my first girlfriend. I was about 16 at the time and was invited over to stay the night because her dad was on a business trip. I was excited because we have talked a bunch about having sex and I was ready to finally lose my virginity. I get to her house and we are straight to action. She pulls down my pants and my dick is as limp as top ramen noodle. She sucked me off for about 30 minutes until I could get at least half a chub. I put it in missionary and started humping. I didn't really know what to do with my hands, and at the time I knew that people pull hair during sex. So I shit you not, I stare at her missionary position and take 2 handfuls of her hair on both sides and just pull in a downward thrust while I'm humping. I sometimes think of this moment and want to disappear, lol. Ugh, I almost completely erased this memory. So I was young and I had my first boyfriend. We were experimenting sexually and I really wanted him to think my pussy tasted nice. So I would literally rub strawberry fucking flavored lip gloss in my vagina. There's no way he didn't know. I thought it was such genius idea that I had to share it with my fellow women. So I wrote it down and passed a note in class to one of my friends. It dropped on the floor and all the boys read it and screamed laughing. Strawberry Lips was my new name and I cried for a week. This was with a girl I dated in high school. My dad was getting drunk at a block party, so I got the idea to take his ski boat and go for a romantic boat ride. So we park in the middle of the lake, start making out and stuff. We notice our feet getting wet. The boat was sinking, so I start freaking out, bailing water out with cups, sopping it up with my shirt and wringing it out of the boat, just fucking panicking. Right after I accept the fate of my dad's $12,000 inboard motor ski boat and calm down, I remember that I didn't put back the drain plug before dropping it in the water, so I replaced it, drove back TLDR, tried to be cool, get laid with a boat ride, almost sank it. Started dating 3 months before sophomore year ended. Once summer started I completely ghosted her. Skipped the first week of junior year. I thought we were still together. You can imagine how she reacted when I approached her for a kiss. The shame is still real to this day. Told my first real GF that I'm glad she wasn't the most beautiful girl in the world, so I didn't have to worry about every guy trying to steal her. Speech 100. The letters I've wrote. Oh, those letters. 15-year-old Meath Putty was deep and romantic. He wasn't. I hope they don't exist anymore. In the 4th grade I wrote anonymous love letters to a boy I liked and left them in his desk. I saw that he threw them away, so I started writing my name on them. He still threw them in the trash. God, this made me have PTSD flashbacks. 3rd grade, me and my friend both liked the same boy, so she thought if we wrote in cursive he wouldn't know who it's from. Problem was I sucked at cursive, she wrote both. After lunch she finds them and she tells the whole class I wrote them. The class makes fun of me for writing too. I still remember that bitch's face. She stopped talking to me after she threw me under the bus. She started to ignore me at school. This was like maybe 1 or 2 weeks after we started dating. I called her house like 6 or 7 times one afternoon after school until her mom picked up, who was basically furious because I had been calling. I explained to her that Alexa was ignoring my calls. I hear in the background, "Hello, why aren't you answering the phone?" To which she responds, "Because he's weird and he just keeps calling." I hung up the phone and went to my room. I carved her name in my wall with a pen. I still cringe about it to this day. Oof. Well, if it makes you feel any better, you aren't the lone name carver. I had a boyfriend in school who carved my name into his wall and then bragged about it because he thought it would impress me. So at least in terms of people who have carved names into walls, you were probably less cringy than that guy. One time I carved my own name into the wall in my own bedroom. Don't really know why. It was there for years before we redid the paint and painted over it. My sister carved her name into my dad's new car. When they confronted her, she blamed it on me. I was one at that time, lol. Was walking her home anticipating kissing her for the first time at her doorstep and kept licking my lips because I didn't want to kiss her with a dry mouth. Halfway to her house she looks at me and says, "Stop doing that." I realized I probably looked really creepy. Did ya get the kiss though? Yes. Broke up with her because my best friend told me to. We were perfectly fine together, but I guess I kinda worshipped the guy and his advice. He later tried asking her out when we split. We were all 14 to 15. Ugh. I had honestly forgotten this until I read this question. First date to a movie. We see Titanic. Because that can only end well. We, as horny youngsters, aren't watching the movie, but instead making out and moaning in probably the third row of a packed theater. I'd never made out before. I assumed moaning was involved. Ugh, so cringy and gross. My first kiss was in the movies at the Bounty Hunter. It was interesting because I also got my first blowjob a few minutes later in the same spot. I remember 4 things. 1. My parents and her parents were 2 rows in front of us. 2. The looks of disgust on the old couple's faces 4 seats down. 3. She swallowed and it was way too much sensation for 16-year-old me. 3. Jared Butler was in it. Declined staying the night because I was, and I quote, wearing a skirt and didn't want it to ride up while I was sleeping. He took me to Olive Garden and bought me that meat lovers lasagna. I'm pretty damn sure that's what it was / is called. And when we got back to his place I wanted to show him how appreciative I was. So I gave him my first blowjob. Turned out I was not ready for that job and threw up the entire lasagna on his penis. God help me, I can't believe I'm finally sharing this story. After I saw Eric propose to Donna on that 70s show, I went out and got a 25-cent ring from the local Pizza Hut and proposed at school in front of everyone. I was 16. Edit. I'm glad you all could share a cringe with me. To answer the burning question, she did say yes. We didn't last. Sorry, no happy ending here. Just teenagers doing impulsive things. Tried to defend her honor. I got the shit kicked out of me by 3 guys. I earned cred for taking a beating, but she thought we should just be friends after witnessing that. TBF. There's worse things to have 3 guys beat the shit out of you for. That was a losing battle from the start, unless you're some Jackie Chan looking punk lol. Yeah, it was a prime example of when keeping it real goes wrong. We took a break and I posted a video to Creep by Radiohead with the caption for that special someone. Ugh. I almost cringed off my chair writing this. Could have been worse. You could have posted a video to Karma Police by Radiohead with the caption "Girls are not to be trusted" by Kevin. Apostrophe. I was 17. We had just had a fight. I drove to his house and blasted Scars by Papa Roach from my car and just stood awkwardly at the end of the driveway waiting for him to come out. I really wish this weren't true, but did he ever come out? He did. But only to tell me I'm overreacting and he'll see me at school on Monday. BRB gonna go curl under the blankets to hide from the memories. We were in 7th grade and had been dating for maybe 2 weeks. I printed a marriage certificate and showed it to her the first time she came over to my house. She called her mom and asked to go home immediately. After the first date of going to the movies, I never put my arm around her because I was too scared. We sat in my driveway and she didn't say goodnight because she was waiting for me to kiss her. I did nothing. So she finally kissed me. In defense mode, I licked my lips all the way around with my tongue like Scooby-Doo does with the cotton candy in the theme song intro. I even did the re-hee-hee-hee kill me edit, cleaned up grammar, so that y'all would not be able to deduce that we were brother sister. JK. Yes, this really happened. I was a freshman in high school and she was a junior. I was not ready for this. Kind of creepy on her part. Looking back, thanks for the kind words I woke up to. I'm glad you'll like my story. My first makeout session with someone was with my first girlfriend. We were in her bedroom, turned out the lights, and went at it on the floor of her room. After a while I feel something wet on my face. I didn't want to stop, so I just ignored it and carried on. She notices it too, and decides to turn on the light, because something is really wet on our faces. Light comes on and turns out I'd had a massive nosebleed, and there was blood everywhere. I was covered in it. She was covered in it, and there were blood stains all over her room. If that wasn't embarrassing enough, when she went to the bathroom to clean up, her mum caught her in the hallway. She sees the blood and immediately screams. Her assumption was that I was beating her daughter up, and I get chucked out the house. Took a long time and explaining for me to show my face there again. Also lost my virginity to the same girl to cool and the gangs celebrate. That was cringy as hell too. I used to take laps around the playground and slap stickers on her ass. I don't know what I was thinking. I got us matching dog tags with our anniversary on it after dating for around 6 months and would secretly get very sad when he wouldn't wear his.